from my experience, people typically do use it as a form of self-expression. So, and it's one that really doesn't go away unless you laser it off your body or something. And even if it is meaningless, it's silly and fun.
It doesn't necessarily have to mean something to someone, but for others, it can just be aesthetics, or they just like something so much that they want to display it on their body.
The earliest recorded tattoos date back to Otzi the Iceman, dated between 3400 to 3100 BCE. With 61 tattoos, they are believed to have been for therapeutic reasons, as they are placed around his lower back and around joints.
Tattoos, it's all over the map, but mostly younger people, you know, anywhere from 20 to 30 usually, but we tattoo older people. We had a guy who was in his 80s, he got some tattoos, he used to be in the Marines, and so he had said that back in the day, all of his peers had gotten all these tattoos, like Army or Marine tattoos, and he never did. And then, like, he was an old man, and he was like, "Oh, I always wanted to get these," so he ended up getting them. It was pretty cute.
The bird was symbolic of a long and difficult journey, and I also considered it to be symbolic of freedom. I got it right as soon as I got out of the Army, so I thought it was pretty fitting. And then it's all right. It's like a reminder that it's all right.
If the person knows what it means, I would do it, but I wouldn't do like kanji or Chinese on somebody if they don't know, if they can't read it.
Even though the internet and social media connects us, one of the effects of globalization and popular culture is cultural appropriation, which is the adoption of elements of one culture by members of another culture. One way to reduce this is to do research into tattoo meanings and their significance to their culture.
Polynesian stuff, a lot of tattoo artists won't touch that because that's pretty offensive, honestly, to appropriate that. And all the little different designs, like, they're in big bands. I don't know if you've seen the Polynesian. They all mean something, and they're like different parts of your life that you are to have, you know, you're supposed to have done and stuff like that. And somebody sees Aquaman or whatever, and they come in and they want to get a Polynesian sleeve, and they don't really know what it means. So a lot of artists will do it because they're just, you know, they don't really care. But a good tattoo artist, in my opinion, won't do like indigenous styles. Tribal was like a thing in the 90s, like the big black work things, and thankfully that's fallen out of favor.
In Samoa, tattooing has been of great significance in religious rituals and warfare. Maori tattoos traditionally cover the entire face and symbolize rank, social status, power, and prestige.
Getting a tribal thing, I guess it would devalue the cultural value to somebody who knows and understands the meaning of it. But at the same time, I think a language like the Japanese one is different because, you know, it's not as of high significance, I guess. I guess anybody could learn that more. It'd be information that's more readily available than, you know, the secret meaning of tribal tattoo.
But mostly stick and pokes look like shit. And it's just like, that's like a weird aesthetic now. Like the crappy hand tats and stuff. And I just don't get it. It's just like, ugh. Like a lot of SoundCloud rappers have like really bad stick and poke face tats and stuff like that. And I think it's just a poor aesthetic choice, if you ask me. But my primary concern is the health aspect of it. And I do know some people that have done stick and pokes where they'll like get sterilized needles from like a legit tattoo supply place, but a lot of it is like in a shop you learn about cross-contamination.
Well, I saw this artist on Instagram. Her name is Numbhand. Courtney is her real name. But really the price at one, because stick and poke doesn't involve a tattoo gun.
Many people draw their inspiration for tattoos from social media apps like Instagram and Pinterest. This contributes to trends in tattoos and ultimately takes away from originality.
Like people literally bring the same reference in multiple times a day, every day. And like the same, and they're like trends, like there's like used to be like a camping scene in a diamond, and like a bear made out of pine trees, like a bear silhouette. Like we see a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again. We hate it. So some of the older tattooers will call them meat and potatoes because it puts food on the table, but it's not really what we prefer to do. I always say if you want a good piece of art on you, to go see an artist, give them a vague idea of what you want, and let them design it.
Tattoo that I have on the back of my neck is a yin-yang symbol, which symbolizes balance, and it kind of always helps remind me that I shouldn't try to do too much or be too much, that there's always a balance in life.
I have 2 cats, and I really, really loved the design, so I was just like, I'll get it for my kitties. And I just really like this one, just the series of moons, And then the last one I have is on my shoulder. It's a constellation of a Gemini constellation.
It's just a rose on my thigh. That one doesn't really have any, premeditation. It's purely aesthetics, and I love it. It's probably my favorite tattoo on my body.
A wolf that's like very boxy, made of geometric shapes. Then I have a sparrow, and I have it's alright, but it's in Japanese.
The one on my arm is my very first tattoo, and the tattoo that means the most to me, the most well thought out one. I drew it myself, and it's basically 2 heads intertwined, and there's an eye in between both heads. It basically represents spreading consciousness, if you have knowledge, don't just let the knowledge stop with you.
To get a skull and dagger, eventually I gotta figure out the placement of that one. It'd be symbolic of, to me at least, of killing a negative part of yourself in order to grow into a better person.
The tattoo on my leg is a sun, a moon, and an eye. And that correlates with a quote that 3 things can't long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
Overall, tattoos are a part of a person's identity. Contemporarily, the meaning of tattoos is self-expression. They carry meaning whether it be associated with a person's culture or significant event in their lives.